The Morning Dump from Hurrdat Sports with Andrew Rogers and Damon Benning.
Hey, the only place for extra thoughts, extra conversation that you can't get on coffee and cream. It's Morning Dump on Hurrdat Sports. Happy to be back with you alongside Damon Benning, Andrew Rogers, as he is blowing into the mic, talking into the mic without the headset. Who knows? Shoulder shrug. We're just having some fun on a Monday morning.
Whispering sweet nothings.
Yeah, he does that a lot, too. During the commercial break, he'll just come right into my personal bubble and just insert himself into my left olfactory.
Don't mean to be a
just
space
kidding.
violator.
Olfactory is the nose, left ear. What? Left canal?
Sure. Your ear canal? Your left ear canal?
What is like the fancy term for ear?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. Scientific term for ear? I'd have to ask an ENT person.
Or we'll ask the internet. How about that?
GIB.
The medical term for the outer ear is the auricle or pinna.
Right there.
The Warren Buffett?
Different
Oracle?
Different oracle. It's A-U-R.
Oh.
Auricle.
Oracle.
That's why we're not scientists.
Sounds like my kind of
We're
word.
doctors.
No. Oracle as in
Oracle.
as in auditory, which is AUD, which is sound. As in auditory.
Yeah, but it's just A-U. It's like gold. It's goldricle.
No, AU is It's Latin for sound.
As in the back of my throat.
As in auditory, as in auditorium. All things
that follow with a D.
You're an idiot. Like, that doesn't have anything to do with it. It just so happens. Because guess what that doesn't fit under? Audacity, which you have the audacity to pretend like those two things mean the same thing when they don't. Wow.
This is A-U-R-D-B.
Wow. I quit.
No, you're sticking around.
Yeah.
Hey, you know
Minute for the long haul.
I should probably quit because we never get to our poll question because we always talk about something new, so I'm going to provide it right
Monday.
now.
I think Monday poll questions are up there in terms of top degree of difficulty.
Yeah.
We're either talking about the weekend or the 98 things that happen in the sports world. And it's like,
Well, and it's hard to pick one.
yeah.
And then if you don't pick the right one and you're like, hey, maybe I'll store this for Tuesday or Wednesday, sometimes it becomes irrelevant. Irrelevant. E-A-R. Relevant. Poll question of the day.
I thought we were getting rid of
DB.
that term, Mr. Irrelevant.
No. I don't think so. I don't think so.
What? Like, because Brock Purdy's out here bowling or what?
No, remember that was a poll question last week.
It's pretty cool how Purdy outplayed Dak. Wow.
Hey, our poll question, though, and it comes back to play calling. And we can always get deeper into that.
I want to be John Lynch.
Who are you backing? That's it. Who are you backing the rest of the way? Is it the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Eagles, or the 49ers?
Eagles.
That's who you like?
No, I just was.
Is that who you like?
No. Of the aforementioned remaining, I am going to take your Kansas City Chiefs.
I'm going to take the 49ers.
Okay. Listen. It's my favorite team all year. So, I mean, I get it. I'm just taking my homie.
Can you tell me without looking?
Even though Foles did beat Brady once.
Don't glare at my computer here, even though you kind of just looked there after I said computer. What the general public thought with this question.
Of the four teams?
Of the four teams.
I will think the general public took the Burrow factor. They probably took Cincinnati after watching them annihilate the Bills.
You'd be right. Out of 311 votes.
That's the Burrow factor.
This is one of the biggest polls that at least Hail Varsity Radio has seen since we started the show. When you retweet something, it gets a lot more traction.
Should I retweet it?
You have like 40,000 followers.
Should I retweet it?
You can. It's not going to matter now because we're talking about it.
Did you close it?
No, it's got 20 hours left.
Oh, well, let's gas that bad boy up.
So with 311 votes right now, 54.7% of people are backing the Bengals right now.
Yeah.
54.7. That is over 150 votes in favor of your friend Joe Burrow.
So I'm going to validate you here, or the poll. Maybe it's both. So last night I asked, did the NFL get it right by having the 4 best teams left? And a couple of folks replied, yes, I think they did. And you could make the case that the lowest ranked is playing the best football. Do you know who that would be? It would be the team that is not the 1 or a 2 that's still left. That would be the Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah. A lot of people and I'm just telling you, I get it. The Bengals are playing well, and they played well without 3/5 of their starting offensive line. But let's not discount the fact Buffalo maybe had the worst game plan known to man of any of the teams that played this weekend. That plan of attack,
right, with
that weather in terms of getting a win, that was coaching malfeasance. It was. You didn't even give your guys a chance.
No. And it's crazy to think that because I put a poll out on Twitter about Buffalo and if Josh Allen can ever win you a Super Bowl, and it's what we talked about kind of to end the show today. And, I love people adding in their 2 cents because it makes me think differently and it allows me to expand on the conversation. And one of our Twitter followers, Josh Cohen, said after he backed Josh Allen being a good quarterback, which that's why I said I put that in the tweet directly. This is not a Josh Allen is a bad quarterback statement. I just don't think he ever wins you a Super Bowl. He ended up saying they'll get there. This is in regards to the Bills. They'll get there. Just need a few more tweaks. A few more tweaks. At the beginning of the season, they were the favorite to win. I know throughout the season things can change.
Is he talking about Dorsey maybe?
And maybe. But when you talk about a few more tweaks, this was the team that everybody projected to win the Super Bowl this year. So it's easy to say now they need a few more tweaks, but think about saying that 3 months ago.
Yeah.
When you give Buffalo every money play to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Every single one. I was on Buffalo to start the year. I was with the majority of people. But to think, it's crazy to think. It's not a knock to Josh by any means. It's just he brought it up in conversation. It's crazy to think.
And JC, he's pretty smart too. He's a self-admitted fan though.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But for me, I'm not saying Josh Cohen is crazy. I'm saying it's crazy to think that we are talking about
this
tweaks.
Conversation.
We're talking about how they need tweaks. After being the favorite to start the year.
Sounds like something Allen Iverson would say. Tweaks. Not a game plan. Not a game plan. Not a talented roster. We're talking about tweaks.
Do you ever want to be the preseason favorite in any sport? I mean, I know you don't want to do it in hockey because you get jinxed there.
Just don't win the President's Cup.
Well, you definitely don't.
You can have expectations, but just don't have the best record in the NHL heading into the playoffs. You'll be fine.
I got to tell you, when that whole thing went down, when Joe Biden went on Twitter and said this is like the best comeback, or how did he put it over the summer after the Avalanche
There's no
won?
telling. What did the teleprompter say?
Yeah, I know, right? But he had said –
no disrespect, Joe Biden. I'm sorry.
He said something like the best comeback or something like of that regard. And I quote tweeted it, and I said, comeback? This is the team that had the best record in the NHL like 2 out of the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Comeback? What comeback are they on? After they got McKinnon with the first overall pick, they didn't need a comeback.
The Blues fan is mad because they raised Lord Stanley's Cup with an interim coach that came in halfway through the season to salvage that season.
I am not mad.
And they drink out of Lord Stanley's Cup. Not everybody can pull a blue.
I am not mad that they won. I am mad about people identifying things the wrong way.
That's funny, man, because driving through St. Louis, we were coming back from that tournament we played there, and to see, like, the Blues logo mowed in people's lawns and stuff, I'm like, all the Blues flags flying. And here's a funny story. 3 doors down, 3 houses down from my mom in her neighborhood, a blues flag flies. How about that?
Good.
Dab smack in the middle of the city in Maple Village, there is a lone blues flag flying down the street from my mom. I don't know the correlation.
I put it there. I thought that was your mom's house. I gotta go change it.
Oh man, trying to stake your claim, huh? Shane
Stick it into the ground.
Shane tried that once. Now they're just Facebook friends.
Oh, good for you. That's what that is, man. I'm telling you.
Oh Lord, have mercy on my
Christ
soul.
have mercy.
On my soul.
It's funny.
Don't
Hey.
flip on him, brother. You know, I still got the one-hitter quitter.
Jay Foreman, yes he does. Yes he does. He was so
You ain't
mad.
doing nothing up in here. You better come and take it. You better be a bad you-know-what if you think you're just going to come in and start over me.
If you want it, you'll have to take it.
Foreman's nuts.
That's what
I'm
I just
the guy that
said.
you guys call.
That's my guy though. Yeah. That's what he said after that.
Oh, man.
He's great. Wait till you meet him.
Yeah, get him on.
He will keep you thoroughly entertained. Well, currently, I believe, if it's FM, are they still a competitor?
I don't know.
Why, what is that? Oh, what is that? I should ask. Technically, are you a competitor if you were on the FM dial? Do you say dial? Or is it dial? From
You
that
need to
big-
dial back in.
You're from that Barry Rogers show. It's probably dial.
We enunciate. Let's see here.
That's actually funny.
FM versus AM. I think everybody's a competitor.
Do you?
Unless you're in the family.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I used to feel like that about country music stations that I used to
Country roads.
compete with, and I'm like, fudge, they're on the FM dial. I can't compete with that. Like, no, you're competing all right.
Yeah, you're competing. The Bobby Bones Show and us.
Is that St. Louis Finest?
I think that's a nationally known
Bobby Bones?
country music show, right?
Really?
The Bobby Bones Show. Isn't that like a very famous Shane, or you would probably know?
Shane. Wait, why would Shane know and I would know? What are you saying? What are we getting at?
Because he's a music buff and you just like to sing.
I can't vibe with country.
Bobby Bones Show is in Austin, Texas. So it's just national because it is on 93.7 in St. Louis.
Is it?
So
Is that
yeah.
is that a big blowtorch?
St. Louis or
no,
the Bobby Bones Show?
The 93.7 in St. Louis. Like,
Uh-huh.
is it a
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah.
monster?
Mm-hmm.
FM's always bigger anyway.
Is
Frequency
it?
modulator. Yeah.
I thought it was FM's clearer, but AM is bigger.
Shane, you're the radio nerd and the veteran of the crew. FMs typically have the bigger blowtorch.
Well, it just depends. I mean, you got to turn the signal down at night.
Well,
So
Just never.
yes or no, Shane?
Just never easy.
it's never easy. I mean, it just varies.
Shane, do you like ham and cheese?
I do, but
Well, it
sometimes
depends.
I don't.
Is it the bone? Is it off the bone ham? Is it? Shane, do you like eggs?
I do like eggs.
Hey, there's an easy answer.
Should we ask Google?
Google what?
Does
What's the
FM
difference?
broadcast further than AM?
Or you could simply ask Google the difference.
FM transmission has broadcast waves that
Back-
are shorter than AM broadcast
Back in
waves
the
and do
day-
not go as far.
Back in the day,
So
before
it's just clearer.
back in the day before you had to turn the power down, like in the '80s, you could hear.
I wasn't up.
Just listen
What'd
to
you
me
do in the
here.
80s?
You could hear.
He said, "Zip it, Marty."
Zip it, Marty. You could hear AM broadcasts from like
Marty.
Minnesota and stuff. I mean, the reach was a lot longer.
Was it?
Yeah,
The more you know.
yeah. I'm all about the reach.
McFly.
You didn't even have the proper courtesy.
Yeah, like Barry Bonds.
The facial expressions on Morning Dump. I feel like if you want the best out of the Morning Dump, you have to tune in to the video.
To watch?
To watch.
Yeah.
Because we do a lot of facial expressions, maybe a little tight roping every now and then.
Hey, by the way, because a couple quick things before we get out of here. Number one, Joel Renzi's article just popped up on the World Herald Jays. I told you that's a fantastic read on Trey Alexander. Really good. So get inside of that. And then with the state school, what did we agree on, or did we, with whether we would have done the obligatory, hey, we can play it on Wednesday, Northwestern, we understand. Did you end up being cool with that? Okay. I mean, because you brought up Bandamel, you brought up Nebraska's health, and they're not getting any healthier in another day, but.
So say it one more time.
Did you agree with Coach Hoiberg being cool with moving the game?
So the reason I say yes is because of the reason you brought up on the show. And it was because of the injury issues. You have to go deeper into your bench now, and now you have to give guys more minutes and more rest, and maybe you're trying to find a new groove, something that works. That doesn't just get figured out in 2 days. And the more time you have, the better off you'll be. Now, it's a game that they had to get in regardless. So why not push it back if your schedule allows for it? And I think Hoiberg, just as a coach, is okay with stuff like that. There are some coaches out there that are like, no, we are sticking to the schedule, and blah, blah, blah. But Hoiberg is somebody that wants to give his guys a chance to compete in every game. And whether they're the best team on the floor or not, which more times than not, they aren't the best team on the floor. They find ways to win games with what they have.
So game time stays the same at 6, but you do move over to Little Fox, which I was saying during the show. I don't know if I would have done that, but if you're not super confident in the product you're putting out, I still don't think coaches think like that, though. Well, I highly doubt Coach Hoiberg and his staff, Coach Lesnar, they're like, you know what?
They may not admit it.
We're not very good anyway. Let's just go to Little Fox.
No, I'm saying more like they may not admit to the fact of that, but in the back of their mind, they know that they're the underdog. They know that they're coming in, with a limited amount of bodies, and they have to make something work out of nothing.
Yeah.
And you build a team, you build depth on a team for reasons like this, but losing 2 starters, especially 2 guys that you credited as your best 2 defensive players, it's hard to replace. And it'll be interesting to see how they compete in the Big Ten from this point forward, because it's not like the Big Ten is just something you can fold your hand into.
Yeah. And you know what? The Big Ten appears to be kind of hitting its stride, right? You look at the standings, and this is the team that I was all in on in the beginning, so I'm going to land the plane and come back to it. And maybe it's recency bias. You could be like, DB, just because you saw him play, Assembly Hall was rocking. I know you like the Hoosiers. You liked them in the preseason.
Sounds just like me.
Yeah. Making fun of me, probably. That's why I love you. When they're going, gosh, it seems like they're really good. Why don't I trust Purdue, even though Edey is the real deal?
It's because Lawyer is inconsistent.
Or at least the 3-point line, maybe. And that is basically
He's just
right?
young.
Right.
He's still got time to mature.
But is that any different? And I don't know. Is that any different than Schifino? Because you're not getting X-Man back anytime since after the foot surgery.
Lawyer's at least stayed healthy. So he's had a lot more time on the floor.
Than Hood Schifino?
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Because I just tell you, Race Thompson and Trace Jackson Davis, Race Thompson didn't play a ton yesterday, but the place did go nuts when he was in the game.
Right.
So was that just to get his feet wet, or did he have a setback? I don't know. But if that's the case, because I said this a month ago, 6 weeks ago, who are the 2 teams I told you I felt like I knew who they weren't going to be in the Big Ten? Coincidentally, Purdue and Indiana.
Indiana.
Both teams that want to play through the post need to develop their backcourt play. I feel like I know what I'm getting from those 2 teams. When those 2 teams are doing what they do, don't you like Indiana more or no?
Than Purdue?
Yes.
Healthy? I don't think anybody's stopping Edey. Even
So I can't talk you into that.
even three first name Trace Jackson Davis
He's the best player in the conference.
over Edie.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think Edie is standalone in regards to his overall prowess scoring the basketball and just his big presence down low. He'd shut down anybody that comes in there.
No way. Trace Jackson Davis leads the conference in blocks.
And good on him for that because he's
going to break the school record next game out.
He's a stud. I am with you.
Edie can't guard him away from the basket.
We're talking about the two best players in the conference right now.
At least most impactful. I don't know if they're the best.
Who would you say?
Trace Jackson Davis for sure. But when you think best players in the Big Ten, like, do you think Edie? I mean, he is a walking double-double.
I do.
Do you know what he's a victim of? You're like, man, DB, you're just biased. This is what I used to say about Shaquille O'Neal, so feel free to laugh me off our own show. You know what I used to say? Well, he's just big. No kidding, right, Sherlock? Like, that's part of it.
Right.
But that's kind of how
Size matters.
Yeah, but I don't think he can I just think he's vulnerable in two-man games in high ball screens, so I don't love him. Am I being too technical?
Maybe a little bit, but you can be technical with the best players in the conference because you can nitpick to improve their game.
Yeah.
Whereas you're looking at some guys that rest in the middle of the pack, and you know that there are a lot of things that they need to grow on. So it's easier to back them when they make growth in a certain area.
I'm not poo-pooing
by no means
21 and 13, right?
By no
whatever
means.
He's going for. He's
right.
21 and 13.
Right. By
That's
no
fantastic.
means.
But I just feel like so you know what I make it? You know what I boil it down to? Give me a little pick and pop or a two-man game or last play of the game. I think if I run that thing through Trace Jackson Davis versus Zach Edey, advantage Trace Jackson Davis.
Is that just because he's more athletic?
I just think I think he can step out further. He can do more with a face-up game with the ball in his hands.
So I think to add to the Edey claim, he can make up for more mistakes because of his sheer size.
Yeah.
And so that's where if Trace Jackson Davis were to work him, Edey could recover better just because he takes up the entire paint. It's a good conversation, a good road to go down though, because both are equally as dominant. And it's hard to kind of pinpoint who's better than the other.
If you're Zach Edey, who's remained relatively healthy, Zach Edey shoots 61% from the floor. Mm-hmm. Is that good?
No.
61% from the floor? Field goal percentage? That's way good. Right? Do you know what Trace Jackson Davis field goal percentage is?
Is it more? Probably, because you wouldn't ask me.
It's comparable, which you may not think. Trace Jackson Davis shoots 60% from the field.
That's insanely good because most average roughly around the 40 mark.
If guards,
yeah,
right, bigs, you'd like to see closer to
50.
Yeah, high 50s,
yeah.
Maybe if you're an efficient big.
Mm-hmm.
But 61 and 60% respectively for those two guys playing through the post
in
a guard-driven game, that's way good.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic, but there's no way you would have put Trace Jackson Davis at a 60%er from the field.
No, I wouldn't have. If you would have asked me to predict.
You'd have said 52, 53%?
Yeah, probably. Because I would have given Edey. I don't think I would have given Edey 60%.
I think I would have given everything is point blank, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, because he is so big that he puts his hand up against the backboard and the ball's already hitting the square. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for him, it's just so easy. But is he the most dominant player in college basketball?
He's up there.
On certain nights, he is.
He's up there.
Is Trace Jackson Davis the most dominant player in college basketball?
So you know what's funny? Because we don't look at it. Well, you do. So credit to you. You called him the most impactful player in the college basketball lineup. Mm-hmm. If he's not playing.
Most irreplaceable is the word I use.
Ryan Kalkbrenner.
Yep.
You know what Kalkbrenner shoots from the floor?
Oh,
no, this is a guy that made 19 in a row.
Yeah, and I'm going to say he shoots 48%.
From the field?
Yeah, because based on what you said, you were leading me that way. So if it's on the other end, I'm going to say he shoots 59.
Ryan Kalkbrenner makes 73% of his field goal attempts.
Excuse me?
72-9. Just say that out loud.
72-9.
Ryan Kalkbrenner makes almost 8, well, closer to 7. He makes 7 out of every 10
Most
shots.
college basketball free throw shooters don't make
shoot
72%.
Right? So that's why
You're over here trying to trick me, DB. I'm thinking that you're going on both ends of the
I'm giving you perspective.
Right.
So
I'm there.
as dominant as we think Edey is, he's a 61% field,
Yeah.
and that's good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not poo-pooing it. But Trace Jackson Davis is right there, can do more with the ball, is more explosive, is just as good a shot blocker, only 2.5 rebounds less a game. Like, and if we're just talking field goal percentage, I almost think Edey should be better.
Mm-hmm. It's because, like I said, you can nitpick the best ones. You can nitpick him based on his overall build, the way that Purdue runs the offense through him. Yeah. Like you can critique those things easier. It's the same thing with Trace Jackson Davis. You could critique him and be like, why don't you have a better shooting percentage than Zach Edey?
You know,
you're more athletic than him.
You know who else, from an efficiency standpoint? We talked about him when they blew Nebraska out in Champaign.
Oh,
Dane Danger.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Danger.
get enough. Danger! Woo woo!
I can come in.
70%er. 70%er. And doesn't get near enough opportunity.
70%.
Over 70% from the field.
So who leads in field goal percentage from a Big's point of view?
Let's take a look-see. Oh, Max Fiddler from Rice at 77.3. But, I mean,
how about in Power 5 schools?
Power 5? Oh, it's going to be Kalk, I'm guessing. Yeah, it's Kalk. And it's not really Power 5.
Right.
But
in college
7.
basketball terms.
We go 7, right?
Right.
In basketball. Yeah, it's Kalkbrenner. And then St. John from Connecticut is up there, then Dane Danger. Because everybody else, Tom Welch is Loyola Chicago. Yeah. Bankston is Norfolk State. Fiddler is Rice. Josh Roberts, who's Manhattan. By the way, do you pay attention to all conferences?
Outside of Charleston, I have not been looking at the Manhattans.
And they just keep blowing people out.
I don't know what to think about them.
What seed line is Charleston?
If the season ended,
how about how we look at their matchups almost every week who they play?
I know.
We're like the only two degenerates. It's like, is this the week for Charleston? is this the week for Charleston?
Hey, if the season ended today, what seed do you give Charleston?
They're a 5 or 4.
Oh my goodness.
Aren't they a 5?
Isn't that crazy to say? Charleston, that's a team that should be 14.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean,
there's so many teams. There are so many teams that end like 23-7, whatever it is. They win the Ivy, right? Harvard wins the Ivy, and they end up being a 13-14 seed. Now Harvard wasn't ranked because of that, but even a Charleston team that ends the season 29-1, just say.
Yeah.
A Charleston team that ends the season like that, I could easily see being like a 6 or a 7 still.
No, and you're probably closer to being right because
a 5 makes sense too. I don't knock the 5 take, but a 4, like if we saw Charleston as a 4, oh my goodness, burn the brackets now.
No, that's too high. We should have asked.
Carey.
Yeah, we should have asked Carey.
And
that's totally on me.
That one's totally on me.
So for the net rankings, I have to scroll quite a ways before I see Charleston. Quite a ways. They are 43 in the net rankings.
So if the season ended today, would they be technically an 11?
No.
But 11 times 4, 44.
You're probably closer to being right than I am. You said a 6 or a 7.
I said a 6 or a 7.
And
like,
I
obviously,
said
you
5.
leave it up to, human interest, too, because that's why you have a committee. So
I'd probably advantage you on that one.
But what's crazy is we're talking about a team in the top 25. I know people don't pay attention to the AP polls because strength of schedule and things like that. But you're talking about a team in the top 25 that could end up with maybe a 2 or 3 loss season. Could just be a 1 loss season for all we know. And to a UNC team that was number 1 in the nation at the time. Were they number 1 at the time?
Yes.
You talk about only losing to that team. I don't know how you don't how you don't make them a 5 seed. I don't know.
So a team you're a little light on. We talked about needing a little bit more consistent point guard play.
UConn?
Do you know who has the most quad 1 wins of anybody in college basketball?
KU.
KU.
Mm-hmm.
7 quad 1 wins.
And they do need some more consistent point guard play.
And all of their losses, and Kerry said this, they're all quad 1 losses.
Mm-hmm.
They are 7-3 in quad 1 games and 10-1 at home. 3-1 at neutral site games.
Jalen Wilson's the real deal.
Oh,
he's a
Caleb-
good player.
uh,
My.
Our household is
Jalen Wilson fans?
they're Jalen Wilson fans.
And I don't know how you can't be. And
But-
Grady Richard is a good one, too.
But you're not going to get this one. But this team has been talked about. Who's second in quad 1 wins?
1 wins. And we talked about them or no? Give me a clue there. Did we talk about them?
Yep.
Second in quad.
Actually, quite a bit. 7-1 quad 1s.
I'm going to say. Oh, man.
Their only loss is a quad 1 win.
Their only loss. Top of the
I said
pack,
quad 1 win.
Bama?
No, sir.
Only loss.
Only loss is a quad 1 loss. Who is it? We've talked about them extensively.
I don't know.
Mm-mm.
I'm going to give you one more crack at it. You're going to be mad.
You must be mad.
Okay, well, it's not Creighton and it's not Nebraska, so I'm going to rule out the extensively portion to that.
Yep.
I'll say we just got done talking about them. I'll say Purdue.
It is Purdue.
Whoa!
You mad.
Give me a Dingman ding. Come on.
Yes, in honor of Darcy Dingman.
Thank you.
Now,
But I had a very good chance at getting something like that right because there are only a few one-loss teams.
would you have guessed that Rutgers is a quad 1 loss?
Well, obviously after
Rutgers
knowing
is
Purdue,
quad 1.
but unbelievable.
Yeah, that's
Rutgers
how
is a good team.
That's how Peichel has them playing.
If you are filling out your March Madness brackets and you see Rutgers as a 10,
I know.
an 11, a 12, possibly a 13.
I don't know, but do you feel that good about them away from Piscataway? And I say all that to say they did win in Les Lafayette, but
I would say I do. I think they're a team that is very streaky and can get hot at the right time.
well, they're well coached. I do know that.
Mm-hmm.
That is for sure. The more you know. How about that little chicken nuggets for a morning dump?
Little college basketball talk, and we can get more into this as the year goes on. We are end of January, so how many
Yes,
games?
almost.
How many games left until we get to conference? Not like conference championship. play?
11.
11 games
Roughly
away.
11, 12, yeah.
By the way,
Yeah.
every time you guys were mentioning ED, you know the first thing I thought of?
ET phone home.
Your personal life?
No, Eric Dickerson.
Oh. What? What?
Your personal life.
No.
It's like a commercial. It's like take Travantix.
Yeah.
That's not true.
I don't even know. If
And
that's
Shane
a
goes,
drug.
No.
No.
Eric
no.
Dickerson. No. One of my favorite running backs of all time.
ED.
ED.
Yeah.
JP.
Oh, he's here. The legend.
We got to get off.
I know.
Because I can make too many jokes now. And I got to get off before I get into trouble.
All right.
He's Damon Benning, at Damon Benning on Twitter. I'm at Andrew Rogers TV. Follow the show at Hurrdat Sports for Morning Dump, at H Varsity Radio for Coffee and Cream. We'll see you tomorrow.